Hi everyone. Today we're going to take what we learned before, which was converting standard form to slope-intercept form, and now we're going to be working backwards. So we're going to be taking slope-intercept form and we're going to convert it to standard form. So there are two steps in order to do this. Let's look at this first problem. If you remember, standard form was in the form of ax plus by equals c. So we need to convert or put our x and our y together. Right now we have negative 7/5 x that's on the opposite side of the y. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my opposite operation to move the x back. So this is a negative 7/5, so I'm going to add 7/5 x on both sides of the equal sign. Since we know that an x and a y can't combine, all I'm going to do is write 7/5 x plus y is equal to 3. Unfortunately, I can't just leave it like that. We can't have a fraction in front of x in standard form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually multiply my entire equation by the denominator. If this fraction was a negative, I will have to make sure that when I multiply, that amount is negative as well. But that's not in this example, but I'll show you that later. The denominator in this case is going to be 5. So I am now going to use my distributive property skills in order to multiply absolutely everything in those parentheses or that entire equation by 5. Multiplying 5 times this fraction is really easy. 5 times 7 is going to be 35. 35 divided by 5 is 7x. If you multiply by the denominator, whatever the top number is going to be is that number that you're going to be left with. 5 times y, I know is positive 5y. And 5 times 3 is 15. And look at that, you're all done. Only 2 steps to this. So let's take a look at another example. I have y equals 3/2 x plus 7. Again, I'm going to do my opposite operation in order to move it to the other side of the equal sign. It doesn't matter if the x is written on top or the bottom. As long as it's attached to the fraction, you're good. So I now have negative 3/2 x plus y is equal to 7. Now this is where I said you have to watch out for those negatives. I am again going to multiply by that denominator, but since I see there's a negative on top of that fraction, I'm going to make sure that my 2 in this example is negative. From there, you're just going to do distributive property just like you did last time. Negative 2 times negative 3 is going to be a positive 6. 6 divided by 2 is going to be left with a 3, attaching that x along with it. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. And negative 2 times 7 is negative 14. And you're done again. Now let's look at that next problem. This next problem, I'm going to do the same step again, which is adding 5x to both sides because that 5 is a negative to start off with. And I'm left with 5x plus y equals 3. Since I don't have a fraction, I can just leave it as it is because it is in standard form. And last but not least, here's my next example. I'm going to subtract 1/2 x on both sides of the equal sign. Since I can't combine, I have negative 1/2 x plus y is equal to negative 5. I'm going to multiply all of this by negative 2. Since my denominator's 2, but the whole fraction's negative, that's why I have my negative there. Negative 2 times negative 1 is going to be positive 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I can just write x. If you want to write 1x, that works too. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. And negative 2 times negative 5 is going to be a positive 10. And I have my answer.